Hello folks. Today we are going to discuss about JSON and XML. So let me brief you about JSON and XML. These are the powerful format which is used for structuring and exchanging data. So if you are a beginner or just want to refresh your concept knowledge, so this video is for you. Now let's get started about JSON and XML. So in this topic I will share in this topic I will explain what is JSON, what are the data types of JSON examples. So I in this JSON example I will illustrate you many examples like dealing with JSON data and all, how we can access what is XML, differences between JSON and XML. So XML example, along with syntax, and I will tell you about validate JSON, how we can validate JSON online. So let's continue. First question is what is JSON? So JSON stands for JavaScript Object Notation. JSON is derived from JavaScript and is language independent. Why we are saying language independent? Because it supports many languages such as C Sharp, Java, PHP, Ruby, Perl, and many more languages. JSON is a lightweight. I will let you. I will tell you about why JSON is lightweight and how we have to deal with it. JSON is easy for both humans and machines to read and write. JSON is one of the most powerful data interchange formats. In the brief section, I already told you JSON is used for data interchange formats. JSON represents data as key and value pairs, arrays, and objects. So while dealing with JSON, every key must be included in double quotes, and values should also be included in double quotes. But it depends what type of value it is. If it is integer, then we don't have to include in double quotes for the values. If the value is a string type, then we must have to include in double quotes. If the string is null, then we do not have to include in double quotes. If it is true or false, some boolean value, then we do not have to use uh, double quotes. Apart from that, we have to use double quotes for values. Now, JSON data types. What are the JSON data types? The first type is a string. I will tell you in more detail how we have to write in JSON as a string, how we have to write the for number, object, array, boolean, null. So these are all the six data types that we using in JSON. So this is the JSON syntax. Let me explain the first data types. So here I will write JSON data types. What are those? So first one is, so let me copy from here. It will be better. So these all are the JSON data types: a string, number, object, array, boolean, null. So let me explain about a string, how we have to write. So first one is string type. So what is a string? Anything, any value, it is in double quotes, that is called a string. For example, how we have to write for JSON. So example, let's say here name. Prince. So anything inverted in double quotes, that is called a string. So a string JSON data type will be, first we have to use the key, and it should be included in double quotes, and in double quotes it should be any text. So this is the key and this is the value. In between key and value, we must have to use colon. Now coming to number data type. Number JSON object as a number. Let's say age. So age is, let's say, 26. So for number JSON data type, age is our key and 26 is our value. So and key always we have to include in starting quotes and with ending quotes. Key always have to be in double quotes, but values, it depends. When it is integer type, we don't have to explicitly write in the double quotes, but when it will be a string, then we have to use double quotes. Now coming to object data type. Object, for example, this is the this is the starting of JSON, and when JSON is started, now we have to use some JSON object. So employee will be the object, and here we have to use colon. After that, let's say we have also array in this, so just use this. And apart from that, we are using some JSON object. Now this is one set of data, so this is one set of data. Under this we can write name. So key must be included in double quotes, and we have to use colon, and then value, it depends whether it is string or uh, integer. If it is a string, then we have to include in double quotes, and if we have to write another key value attributes, then we have to use comma. So in this we are using age. So for age we are writing like 26. So this is one set of data. Under this we are using key including we are using key with double quotes and value in double quotes because it is of a string, and this is another key value attribute. So that's why we are using comma to separate one key attribute with another one. So this is integer type. Let's say employee is having two set of data. So whenever two set of data, then here we have to use comma and then use this. Now name should be Prakhar and age should be, let's say, 20 23. So in this object, what we explain, so this is the starting and this is the ending of JSON. So JSON started. Now employee, so employee is the object, and under this object we are having array. So in array we can have multiple sets of data. So this is one set of data and this is another set of data. In one set of data we are having name and value. So key always have to use double quotes, and value, it depends, either we have to use a string, then we must have to use double quotes. For that, if it is integer, then we don't have to use double quotes. So another, if we are using double sets of data, double key attribute, then we must have to use comma. And if one set is completed and if we want to use another set of data, then here we also have to use comma. So this is the example of object. Now coming to the fourth one. What is fourth one? So array. So let's say array. For array example, let's say for array example, we are using this data only, this data. So I will explain you how this will look like. Let's say phone. Let's say phone. So this phone will be the key, and we have to use colon, and under this we are using, let's say this one, and we are using another set of data. So this will phone will be the array of array JSON, and it is we are using array symbol here. Under this we are having two phone numbers. So when we have to deal with array JSON, then we will be using this one. Now coming to the fifth one. So let's say null. When we have to use null, so null, for example, I'm using the same data. So for null, let me come to the next page. So null, how, whenever we have to deal with null, then we have to, if we want to use another key value attribute, then we have to use comma, and let's say the key is married, ma, and we do not know what the value is, so we have to use null. So what is null? Null is unknown value which we do not know, so married null. And if say here, if we are using this one, so if we are using another key value attribute, then we must have to use comma. Now this example is completed. Now let me talk about something, boolean value. Boolean. So how we will be using? For example, I will using this JSON object. So let's say in employee we are using some working, employee is working or not. If this is the requirement, then we have to, yes, true, it is working. So true is the boolean type, and we do not have to use double quotes for that. If it is null, then we do not have to use double quotes because it's unknown number. Null is nothing, unknown. And for true, for boolean value, we don't have to use double quotes, and for integer we don't have to use double quotes. Apart from that, we have to use double quotes for the value. And here let's say, so in boolean there will be only two value, either true or either false. And let's say when we talk about gender, so let me explain you this thing also. If it is gender and we have only one value, let's say male, so for one character we have to use double quotes, not single quote. If you will use single quote, then this will be invalid or incorrect. Now when we have to use another key value attribute, then we will be using comma, and let's say gender, let's say here also m. So this is the example for JSON data types. Let me explain you what I have explained to you. So if it is a string, so we have to use key and value attribute in the for the JSON. For the JSON object, key must have to include in starting quotes and and enclosed with double quotes, and value it should be in double quotes for a string. If it is number type, then key must have to use in double quotes, and the value is integer, so we do not have to use in double quotes. For object data type, we are using, let's say employee is the object, in the object they we are using uh, array. So in array there is two sets of data, one set data is this one and another set of data is this one. So under this we are using name and prince. So name will be key here, prince will be value, yeah, again age will be key and 26 will be value. So one set of data completed, and whenever we have to use another set of data, this one is 26, then we have to use comma, and it applies for the this thing also. But after this, there is no set of data, so we don't have to use this one. If we have to use comma, then this will be incorrect. So last object we do not have to use comma. Now array. So what is the array concept? So this is the phone, and phone an employee is having two phones, so we will be using array, and under this two value will be there. So we have to use array concept here. And if it is null, so for null, if we do not know the value, then we have to use null. If it is married, is it married, null, we do not know. And for this we are using comma, and here we are not using comma because this is the end of set, one data set. And for boolean, if it is, let's say, if the requirement is coming for, let's say, boolean type, whether it is true or false, so we have to use true or either false. And if it is gender type, and if it is one character, then we must have to use double quotes, not single quote. So that's all for data types, JSON data types. Now let's move to the another topic. So JSON data type, so let's say here starting and this is the ending of JSON. This is the employee, so employee is the object here, employee is the JSON object, and here we are using array, and under this we are having two sets of data. One their sets of data is this one, that's why I have used comma here. In between of key and value we must have to use colon. So if it is a string type, then we have to use double quotes. If it is integer, then we don't have to use double quotes. If it is address, so address is having, let's say, city and country. So address is the object here, and in this we are having city as a key and San Francisco is a value. Another the country for same. So this will be a key and America will be the value. So here phone, so phone, this is the array, JSON array. Under this we have two value, that's why we are using array here. And gender male, married, false. So I have covered all the data types here. Now coming to the next topic, what is XML? So XML stands for extensible markup language. What does this mean? So XML just similar like HTML. So when we are using HTML, we have to use some tags and attribute. In the same way, XML is working. So I will explain you in a bit how XML is look like and how we have to deal with it. So XML is a markup language used to define, store, and transport data. XML is flexible, human readable, and machine readable format. So this is the difference between JSON and XML. So syntax is uses key and value pairs. JSON uses key and value pairs. So we have already seen how we are using key and value pairs. And for XML, use tags and attribute. So let me explain how we have to write the syntax for XML and what are the tags for that and what are the attributes. So let me flip to the word and let me explain you. So here I will explain XML. So in this, for example, we have to write employees. So this will be the starting tag of employees, and when we have to start, then just close this. In the same, when we are dealing in HTML, so this also same applies to the HTML also. When we have to start the tag, then we must have to close the tag. So why we have created plural here employees? Because in employees we have different data, different set of employees. So under this we are having different employee. So employee, and we have to close this employee. And for this employee, let's say, and for this employee id is 101, and for this employee here name is, let's say, Prince, and we have to just close this. And after that, let's say employee is having age, so just close this as well. And age is, let's say, 26. So Prince will be the inner text and 26 will be the inner text. We don't have to use here double quotes or single quotes. This is called inner text. This is called inner text. We have to write as it is. Like if it is a string, then we have to write like this. If it is integer, then we have to write like this. But make sure when we have to start the tag, we must have to close this tag. So under this we can have multiple sets of data like this. So here 102, and okay, and let's say 23. So under this, what we have explained, so this is the starting tag of employees and this is the ending tag of employees. And here employee is the tag and id from here to here. So this is called attribute. So attribute name is name and its value is 101. Excuse me, 101. So 101 will come into double quotes. And for this, we if we have started the tag, then we must have to close this tag. So here the tag name is name, here the tag name is age, and in between we have to write either a string, either integer. So and we don't have to use double quotes. So this is the one set of data and this is the another set of data. I will explain you further how we can validate and how we have to just validate the path. So let me explain next topic. So data types we already discussed. For JSON supports native data types like boolean, null, string, object, array. So this is the native data types. And here is XML, and for XML we are using some text based. And about readability, so it is more concise. Like in JSON, uh, let me explain you. In JSON, when we have to come from, let's say if we want to fetch the gender, then we will write employee dot gender. So we will fetch like m, the value of a gender. We have to remember this point. And so it is XML is more verbose and complexity. So suitable for simpler data, but suitable for complex data. So let's move. So XML example. So under this, first line is XML version 1.0 encoding UTF-8. Like when we have to just deal with XML, so this line is mandatory for this. We have to write like this. And this is the starting tag of employees. Under employees, we are having many employee. So this is the one. This is the one set of data employee, and this is the second data of second set of employee. So here name ID is 101, and here name is David, age is 26, phone number is this one, address, under address we are having city, so San Francisco, and country is America. So this is the one set of data, and this is the second set of data. So the next topic is how we have to validate JSON online. So there for this we have one website, jasonpathfinder.com. Go to the browser and type URL jasonpathfinder.com. So they have provided some sample JSON data. So here this one is instructions. So instructions is our JSON object. This is the array. From the first element, enter your JSON in the editor is there. On the second element, it is select an item to view the path, view its path, and the third element replace x with the name of your variable. Now you can see here in the path window. So our JSON, this is the JSON object. On the zeroth element, here it is enter your JSON in the editor. When we click on, let's say this one, so for this, here it is saying instructions. So just forget about this one because they are using x dot to represent the path here. So just forget about this. So starting from here, instructions 0. So instructions is our JSON object, and under this, when we have click on the first element, so array starts from zeroth element, so that's why 0. So this one is highlighted. If we have to select second one, the third one, then it will come here 2. Just check once, it is coming 2. If we have to select the second element, then it will come 1. So in this way it is working. And for validate, I have another URL, jasonpath.com. Just go to this URL and click enter. Now let me explain this data also. So here it is JSON is started. So here JSON is started and it is ending here. So this one is our key, and this is our value. In between we are using colon, and key must be explicitly, we have to use double quotes. So key and value, again last name is the key and do is the value, age is our key and 26 is our value. And you can see that the if it is a string, then we have to include in double quotes. If it is integer, then we don't have to use double quotes. And for address, so this is the another JSON object. Under this we are using street address, city, postal code. In the phone numbers we are using array here concept. So we can see that this is the one set of data, and if we are using the another set of data, we have to use comma to separate to one to another. And if it is the last one, if it is, let's say this one is the last data for this set, then we don't have to use comma here. And if it is the first element and some key and value pair is there, then we have to use comma here. So let's say if we want to access here, let's say home, then how we will write? So here it is for home, we have to fetch the type, but for this data what will be the parent? So phone number will be the parent. So we have to use phone numbers. So just remove this one, phone number. On this we will be using type, type type. So you can see that home is coming. If we have to access this type, then we will be using zeroth element. Why? Because this is the array starting and this is the ending on the arrayth element. So this will be the first element, so starting from 0. So if we want to fetch the iPhone value for type key, then we will be using phone numbers. So this will be phone numbers on the zeroth element. So on the this will be the zeroth element. On this we are accessing type, so we can get iPhone. So that's the example. So why I have explained JSON and XML? So sometimes when we have to deal with JSON path validator in the next section, so this concept will be using, that's why I have explained prior to that video. So just start and practice this. You, it will help a lot to just familiarize all with JSON and XML things. Thank you for listening.